Alrighty. Hello, folks. Hello, Dave, Jim, Kyle, Daniel. Let's see, who else have we got here? We've got Marie. Oh my gosh, Clint, Dave. All the cool kids are here today. Peter, Rodrigo, welcome. And forgive me if I butchered a name there somewhere like Clint. I am so glad you guys are here today. It's going to be an interesting show, a very interesting show. Rich, Tim, there you go. All right. Glad to have you. You know, you should really test out a lot of these things before you go live with them. Yes, Marie, you're a cool kid, no doubt. No, oh, are you kidding? Oh, yeah. That's what Sandy says anyway. T3 True. All right. Did your mother give you that name? I don't think so. Tim got to do a TEDx. It wasn't a Tim-X, huh? Okay. Nick's here. Hey, Nick. Good to see you again. Saw Nick last night on the vMix 101 Basics of Live Production class, our very last class. Nick is now a graduate. His diploma is in the mail or somewhere. Yeah, today's show is half-baked, so we're going to go bake the rest of it. It's Tajmar. Tajmar? You tell me if I've got that right. Did I hear about your poor car? I heard you guys had an accident. I wasn't sure if it was worse than that. Hey, Rudy. As long as you guys are okay. I mean, cars, we can get new cars. We can find ways to, you know, we can ride a bike. Uh-oh. Looks like we lost one of our streams here. Let's see what happened. All of a sudden, Facebook says that stream number 2 is no longer valid. I mean, and number 3 is about ready to flake out. Which one is which? I'm not sure which is which. Look at that. I'll be darned. All of a sudden, yep, and there goes stream number 3, which is both of the Facebooks. So is Facebook having problems today? It only happens once I go live. I mean, it's not like there's some music playing and they're cutting me off at the what would they cut me off at? The knees. That's it. Yeah. What was I streaming? 6 and 2 is 8.5, and 10.5, 11. So I was using 11 out of 20. I wasn't even using the 60% rule. And we've lost the Facebooks. Let's see if we can just start them back up again. Nope, won't start that one. And nope, won't start that one. It says the keys are no longer valid. Well, that's no good. Let me put a quick note on Facebook that yeah, the preview just shows spinning spins. So oh, it wasn't even live. What about the other one? Yeah, the other one wasn't even live either. It just didn't like me. Well, not much I can do about that. Don't save. We'll have to figure that out later. Sorry about that, guys. So we're only on YouTube today. If somebody has a chance and can put a little post in the Streaming Idiots group that we're only on YouTube today and maybe give them the link, that would be great. Hello, Cliff. I got you covered for tomorrow. And sorry about the Magewell. Yeah, I've got that on its way to you now. And Rich, X-keys on its way to you too. How do I make this split screen with the messages? You can pop them out. You can pop out both the YouTube video and the chat and make them whatever size you want them. Something safety based so the seats adjust if the car is hit from behind. Ooh, that's no good. Was this the Volvo? Let's see. Okay. Well, we are, I am glad you guys are here. I really am. And let's switch over to this computer. I am actually in the process, a little bit of news before we start the show. I am actually in the process of building a new PC for me. You would think after all the PCs I built for all these people all over the world that I would finally build one for me, and I have. And it is it's sitting right over there waiting to go into the server case. So it's all set up and, well, I'd say it's all built. It's not set up yet. So I'm hoping that when we do our next show that we'll be doing it from a new PC. Not sure if I'll continue to use the 2 PC setup or not. I kind of like that. Oh, Jim's here. Okay, we can get started now. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Rudy. Rudy posted a message on Facebook, and Marie said it may be January before they have time to fix her Volvo. Oh, man. That's bad. The PC is based on the i7-8700K from Intel. You guys heard on the vMix Funtime live show last night. If you didn't, you need to go back and watch it. It was a really good show. That there are 2 new chips coming out from AMD that have not yet been released. They're due to be released, they said this month, but it may mean, at the end of the month. But I'm glad you guys were able to walk away, Marie. That's the important thing. You can always get a new car or get it fixed or take a bike. That's right. Gunner's here. Welcome, sir. Glad to have you. So Martin says that the key is the lanes, the PCIe lanes and the memory bus. So we may take a look at an AMD for the big Obsidian type systems where people need 8, 10, 12 NDI inputs. Hey, Kyle, glad to have you. So that was news. And also, if you saw that show, you saw an interview that Tim did with 2 principals at Fairhope Intermediate School. That's the school we built the studio at. I think all we got was a snicker from Tim when it was time to talk about that. But that's okay. I guess a snicker from Tim is better than not a snicker from Tim. So anyway, all right. Well, let's have a go at today's show. It's everything's moving around here. That's no good. Let's try it. Let's try a little bit there. There we go. There we go. All right. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting little show. So Maggie's here. Welcome, Maggie. We were just about ready to start talking about Maggie stuff. So let me make a quick change here, and then where is it? The close and the open. Where's the open? The open. So let's change that. Well, we may not even need to change it. No, we don't. Well, I think we'll be okay. All right. So let's just let's give this a wing, shall we? All right. If we punch a button, it should start the show. Fingers crossed, right? Haven't tested any of this stuff. Here we go. That didn't work. Let's try something else. How about this? How about that? It worked. You just never know about these things. Hey, I'm Tom Sinclair, and this is Streaming Idiots. Yes, you have arrived. There's a dead end sign. It says the end of the internet. That's us right here, the end of the internet. But we're so glad that you could be with us today. So many good friends watching and chatting from literally all over the world. So glad to have you with us today. Kind of an interesting show. Don't have a guest. And in fact, I'm not coming to you from the regular studio. I'm coming to you from the control bench. Let's see, do we have a graphic of that? Let's see, can we show anything? Yeah, here's the studio. And as you can see, we're not over there. We're in the process of building. That's one of 3 different systems that we're building for Dave. So we weren't able to use that section, but that's okay because we really wanted to use this section right here, which is, let's see, how can I put myself back in the picture? Can I do that? What if we just use that camera right there? There we go. Don't have a background. In fact, probably should take out the chroma key because you can see a little bit of shadow here, but that's all right. What if I do this? What happens if I do this? There we go. That's the shot we were looking for. So we're kind of in the studio, but we're kind of not. We're at the control desk. That's a long way of saying, golly gee, we're going to be playing with some stuff today live. We've got the good old X-keys XK-68 Joystick. That rascal has been around for a while, and it was just like 2 weeks ago that I figured out that vMix has the capacity to control that PTZs with that. In fact, multiple PTZs with that. And I played around with it a little bit. And actually, Dan and Miranda were kind enough to ask me to come be on 5 Minute Fridays on the X-keys show last Friday. And so we were on there and talked a little bit about it. But I thought I'd do a deeper dive into it today and talk about what some of the shortcuts are and how you can do it. I mean, I'm going to show you everything I know and probably some things I don't know. And so if you've got an XK-68, and I think this probably would work with the XK-12 Joystick version. That's the little, based on the XK-24, except it's got a joystick in it. I haven't tested with that. I've got Maggie. In fact, you guys should have gotten a PO from me already, on including an XK-12 with the PTZ key set, which I'm interested to take a look at. But the idea, the problem has always been how to get the controller to control more than one camera at a time. And it finally dawned on me, and I'm not sure if it was something that somebody shared with me or something I cooked up on my own. I think I cooked this one up on my own. But vMix has a shortcut called Move Input. Well, you can move inputs. If you right-click the little gear icon on an input, it'll open a small menu, and one of the options on that small menu is to move this input to another location. Well, now they have, Maggie says there's no reason why it wouldn't work with the XK-12. Okay, great. And she's already shipped out my stuff. Oh, that's great. I can't wait. So there's a shortcut in vMix called Move Input. So we can move an input to a specific location. In fact, we can move multiple inputs to the same location. Not all at once, but if we let the joystick control whatever is at this input position right here, then all we have to do is move camera number 1 to that position, and then when we're ready to control camera number 2, we just hit the camera number 2 button, and it moves that input to this position so we can control camera number 2. And in theory, you could control as many cameras as you could connect to your PC and as many keys as you had. I mean, you could get a couple of XK-128s out there and control 100 cameras, 200 cameras. Not that you would want to, but I think you could. And we might play with that one day just to see what the actual limit would be. And it probably would be your PC would be the limit more than anything else. So, okay. So we've got the ability. In fact, let me show you. If I push this button, what happens? There you go. Okay, here's the XK-68, and I've set it up with a couple of keys, and I guess it's upside down. Let's see if we can't just flip that little rascal real quickly. Hold on. You're going to get a little car sick here. And I think pi, or close to pi, is going to make this, hang on. There we go. March 14th. There. All right. So now it's right side up. And so we've got all these buttons on here, and these are buttons that just came out of my button collection. It's not anything that particularly comes with the kit, and we'll talk more about that in just a second. But I went ahead and set up as if I had 4 cameras. So the black buttons represent cameras. So this is camera number 1, camera number 2. I don't have cameras 3 and 4 set up. And the green buttons, and again, I know in the broadcasting world, green has a specific meaning, but just ignore that for the moment. The green buttons are going to be camera number 1 presets. And the orange buttons are going to be camera number 2 presets. You see, it's kind of like there's a column, and this is a camera 1 column, this is a camera 2 column. The auto button is because I didn't have a take button, and I want a take button because the idea is that these are going to move to preview, and then I can take them when I'm ready because we don't want to see the movement on them. Let's do this. Let's bring in, this is not going to work now. Yep, because now we're back to upside down. Oh well, you'll just have to deal with it. I can deal with it, so you can deal with it. And then because I've got an overlay that's going to fit right here in just a minute. So the idea is that we want to program buttons 1 and 2 because I've only got, well, actually I've done 1 and I'll do 2 with you. So I've got button number 1 that will allow me to control my PTZ Optics 12X that's over here to my left, your right. And we ought to pop that one into the screen somehow so that you can see it. We'll do that in just a minute. So if I mash this button, that's going to put camera 1 as the whoops. Who forgot to turn off their phone? I did. So now the joystick is going to work with that camera. And yeah, we need to bring that camera in as a picture-in-picture, don't we? All right. Let's do it right here. Multi-view, desktop capture, lower third. Let's do that one and go in and change it. And we need to go back out and take the multi-view, take the color key off of it. There we go. Okay. So now you can see the camera. So as I've got the joystick moving right and left, and it actually is pressure sensitive. So the further I move it, the faster it's going to go all the way to full speed. And it stops moving when I let go of the stick. And notice how it kind of coasts to its final position. I like that. Because what happens is the very last command it got was the slowest speed. And so it went from the slowest speed to off. So that's pretty cool. And it'll do pan up and down as well. And then I went ahead and made 2 buttons over here. If you can read upside down, that one says out, that one says in. So yes, those are our zoom buttons. So I can push the zoom button. Well, apparently I haven't gotten those set up yet. Let's take a second and set those up, and then we'll go in and we can set up the rest of the buttons. So let's see, what do we need to do? Let's open our shortcuts, and I want to put them out where you can see them. So let's do that. And that's pay no attention to all those shortcuts. I mean, those are ones that I'm working with on a regular basis. And what I want to do is get the zoom in. Where is zoom in? Right there. Zoom in. And I want to go ahead and assign that to, I'm going to assign it to preview. Can we do that? Let's assign it to preview and see if that's going to work. Assign a shortcut to an input number. No, we're just going to go to preview, and we'll go ahead and say yes on that one and close that out. And so we'll come back to this shot right here. And if I do a zoom in, I guess we need to put that camera in preview. Now we're going to have a zoom in effect. Now we're going to have a zoom out effect. Right. So if that's our active camera. Okay, so we got zoom working. We've got pan, tilt working. And there, I wanted to play with the joystick as a zoom, but I haven't gotten to that part yet. And this is not a joystick that's spring-loaded to go back to a home position. It's just a continual turning knob. So it might be a little tricky to get a zoom to start and stop without having a stop position on that. All right, so we've got camera 1 set right here. If we go to camera 2, that's going to set actually this webcam as camera 2. And you know what? We need to go back and double check our shortcuts. So let's go back to shortcuts. And bear with me, this is kind of a work session today because I did not have the time to get this set up in advance the way I had hoped. All right, so let's scroll down to our zooms, zoom in, assign shortcut to input number 1. And so we're going to say number 1 here. Let's see if that'll do it. So whatever camera is in number 1, well, no, we're going to put it as number 1. Okay, let's give that a try and see if we've got it right there. Okay, so let's switch back here. We're going to put camera number 1 there and zoom in and out on that. That's going to work. All right. Now let's set up camera 2 and we'll see if we've got that the right way. So setting up camera 2, we'll go back into shortcuts. And let me get that shortcut window out where you guys can see it. And we'll go right there. There we go. So let's set up a shortcut. Excuse me just a second. Got a sneeze button here. Goodness gracious, thank goodness for the sneeze button. All right, so let's make sure that button number 2 is not being used. So we're going to do a find right here, and we'll mash button number 2, and that's going to give us MIDI note on channel 2, note 15. So let's see, do we have a 15? Yes, and it is the move input button. All right, let's take a look at this. So we've got our button here, that's number 2. Our function is move input, and our input is Logitech HD Pro Webcam 920, and we want to move it to input position number 1. So whatever is input position number 1 is going to be the one we control. So okay, that's going to work. And so if we go to OK and OK, and if I press this 2 right here, well, let's see. Let's do something different with our multi-view and see if we can do it differently. Multi-view is going to be always want it to be that one. Is that the one we want to work with? I think it is. All right. So we've got that twice. Let's see if that'll work. Bear with me just a second. So if we press the 1 here, no, it looks like it's going to stay with the, it looks like I can't switch this one the way I can switch the other ones. We'll check that one more time. So let's go back into the multi-view and see if we can get this guy to go. Yep. All right. We'll just set it back to that one for the moment. It's not my first choice, and I may play with that one to see if there's a way to do that, but for now. So essentially, you can't see that second camera, although it's going to be me down here in the bottom left-hand corner. Yes, we're going to zoom a webcam because I don't have a second PTZ on hand. Well, I do, but it's not here. It's over at the church today. All right, so let's see. Let's set up a shortcut. And we'll drag that in so you guys can see. And we've already got the shortcut set up to move the inputs. And that's number 7. That takes care of the PTZ camera, which is set up on the deck link. And number 15, which is the Logitech Pro webcam. So let's go into the Pro webcam and we'll go ahead and set up a, let's go into the webcam and we'll just zoom it, because you have to zoom it in order to really be able to get it to work. So let's, again, this is just very crude, doing more than I should so that you can sort of see over my shoulder. This is the webcam here. So I should be able, in theory, to make it zoom in and out. Nope. Let's see. Let's take camera number 2 and make it the active camera. Zooming in, zooming out. Nope, that's not working. Let's go back and double check our shortcuts. Okay, there's shortcut. Zoom in. Zoom in is attached to the Logitech, and it's got a value of 1. What if we take that off? And we'll give that a shot. So we'll go back here, and we'll do a zoom in. Nope, not zooming in. Had it working the other day. It's funny how that stuff goes. Look, Tom knows his stuff upside down and backwards. Well, actually not. I am struggling a little bit here because I had it the other day, and then I didn't go in and get fresh on it today before the show. So let's go back to our zoom. Zoom in. We really do want it to do the input number 1. Let's give it a value of a 0.5 as a zoom speed. Let's see if we can't get some zoom out of it. I'm just going to leave that. Well, let's go back here. And let's see if we can zoom in. Oh, you know what? I'm an idiot. I am an idiot. You say, of course you're an idiot, Tom. It's a show all about idiots. Yeah, but I think I need to enable the PTZ on this camera. This is the Logitech. Yeah, that's why we can't do it. So let's see if we've got a little zoom working there. There we go. We'll create a little input there. Let's just pan over a little bit that way. We'll create another input, so we've got a couple of inputs we can work with. And yeah, you can't zoom something that doesn't exist. So let's see if the zoom out is now going to work. There we go. We had it all along. Zooming in, zooming out. Notice the zoom in was a lot faster. So let's go double check our shortcuts for the zoom in and zoom out. So we've got zoom in right now is set to input number 1, assigning shortcut to the input and a 0.5, and zoom out is input number 1, assigning shortcut 0.1. Well, let's compromise and set them both for 3. 0.3. So we'll zoom in at 0.3 and we'll zoom out at 0.3. And so we'll zoom out. There we go. Zooming in. Joystick. There we go. All right, so that's camera number 2. We'll go back to camera number 1. And let me illustrate camera number 1 here. Multi-view. There we go, camera number 1. We now have the ability to zoom in, zoom out, pan left, pan right, tilt down, tilt up. Okay. And then I think this is the home spot. There we go. Okay, so I've preset number 1 here for home for that one. And now let's see if preset 2 will take us somewhere. Very slowly it takes us somewhere. Let's go back home. Home is set for a little faster speed, and we'll go to preset number 3. So that's going to take us somewhere so that we know those presets work. What we want to do is to, now that we can control the camera, and in fact I'm going to switch back to camera number 2 and we'll zoom it all the way out so that I can be I can be in my position down here in the bottom left hand corner. Kyle says, can you pan and zoom at the same time? Well, that's a good question, Kyle. I don't know. That would require me to touch 2 things. So let's see. I'm going to use the button here in, and I'll pan. So we're zoom in. Oh, sorry. Let's go back to this camera. I'll go back. Zoom all the way back out on me. I have not set up activators yet, so I can't tell which the active camera is. I would have a light blinking down here at the bottom. So let's go ahead and can we pan? Okay, and can we zoom? All right, so let's zoom. I think that answer to that question is yes. You can pan and zoom at the same time. And I think I've even got the joystick controls so that you can do the diagonal as well. But like anything else, it really is a matter of getting to know your equipment so that you know kind of where the invisible dividing line is between the diagonal down and the diagonal down left and the down and the diagonal down left and the left. So there's some dividing lines there, and you got to get a feel for where those are. But Cliff says, can you pan and zoom with one stroke on the keyboard? Right now, yeah, you could. You could. Right now, I've got it set up where the single zoom button actually does 2 functions. It starts zooming when I press it down, and it stops zooming when I release it. I could set it up to do a zoom regardless, and then a separate button to stop zooming. But in order for me to use this the way I've got it set right now, I've got to continue to hold the button in all the time. But the answer to your question is, if you preferred it that way, yes, we could set it up that way and probably set up, maybe a double button that was your stop button. And we could set up the stop button to stop any number of things. It could stop a pan, it could stop a tilt, it could stop a zoom in or a zoom out, all with one button. So yeah, we can, and that's the beauty of the X keys. Great question. Daniel says, do you still have to physically switch the camera into the preset yourself? No. Once the presets are set, they can move the camera regardless of which camera is selected down here. The selection down here for our discussion so far is just for the movement of the joystick. And so I can move this. I can switch to camera number 2. You'll just have to trust me that I've switched to camera number 2 here. And I can now still control my cameras with the preset. So regardless of what camera is the quote-unquote active camera, I can still control my presets. And you really would want it that way, because your active camera is probably going to be your camera. Well, no, the active camera is the camera you're going to move. So you could do it either way. Yeah, I got you. I got you down. Yes, preview, right. Let's see. So what we want to do now, and this is a little bit of uncharted territory for me, is to change a preset. So we've got a preset, for example, with the PTZ Optics 12X that we've got it right up there. We've got, and let me change this preset. Do you mind? I'm just going to take a second and change it, because the speed on it is so slow. It takes it forever to, oh, no, I need to go into the camera control on that one right there. Bear with me. Position speed, let's just move it up and see if that makes any difference. So as I go preset, yeah, there we go. Back home, preset number 3. Yeah, okay, so now we can see that there's some movement. And the one button, just for convenience sake, I've got set up as home for the camera. You could set it up as a preset of any kind. And in fact, you probably, whoops, that's the wrong zoom. Let's get this camera active. We would set up a preset that had a zoom and a location built into it. So right now, I could, let's see, let's move over here, and we'll zoom in. And in vMix, I'm just going to update this input. So when I go back here, and then I go in here, oh, no, I didn't update. Maybe I updated the wrong one. Well, let's try again. Update input 52. We'll give it 53 also, just in case. All right, so we're going to go back to home, and then it didn't take the zoom. How about that? We'll have to work on that one. Okay. Daniel, can you set it up so that when you press the camera button to control it, it will also put that camera view in the previous window? That's what it does. It actually takes that, when we set up a camera button to control it, it physically moves that camera input to position, in this case, to position number 1 in my vMix setup. And I can show you that, but it would take me a second to do a screen capture on that. John says, I have not had the opportunity to have multiple PTZs, but I figured that I could just assign the shortcuts to the preview input. Whatever PTZ I needed to change, I could put it in preview first. Yes, I think you can do that. But remember, you have to, if you have a camera and then a number of presets, it's the camera input that is the one that controls. So if you put a preset in preview, you're not going to be able to do anything with that preset. That preset's pretty well fixed. In order to change the preset, you've got to change the location on that, and that's what we're going to do now. And I had this working the other day, and so I want to see if I can't get it going again for you guys right now. So let's switch back to let's get into shortcuts. And I think I have a shortcut already set for this. You can see my PTZ move to virtual input position. Those are my green buttons. And it looks like number 9, whatever number 9 is set for clocks. So obviously that one's not going to work. So let's take that one out of the mix. All right. And there's me trying to get the, this particular, the PTZ Optics camera line does not take focus commands from vMix. It will in the input, but it won't through the API, and I'll have to explore that just a little bit more and see. I mean, although I misspoke. The PTZ Focus Far API shortcut command, the function, doesn't work with a PTZ Optics camera, at least not so far. So we need to work on that one a little bit. So what we want to do is we want to be able to change the location of the camera and then assign that new location to a preset. And so bear with me just for a second, and let's see if we can't figure out how to do that. Our active camera is camera number 1, which is the PTZ Optics 12X. And let's see, just for fun's sake, let's get everything on this screen. What do you say? It's a mishmash already. But let's see, what do I need? Oh, I got to close out this window in order to do that. Sorry, excuse me 1 second. And we're going to do multi-view. And let's assign the deck link. And let's make that position much smaller. And I hope you guys don't mind, but I'm just going to bring it over here and we'll make it just a little bigger. Oops, a little bigger. And we'll cover up the QR code, but you know how to get it if you want it. Okay. All right, so now we've got everything on one screen. What a smorgasbord. And let's take our shortcuts and put those in position. So now we're going to add a shortcut. The key for it we're going to find is going to be, I'm just going to use this top right key right here. This one right here. It's not labeled. It's 272. So we'll use 272. And the function will be a PTZ function. And the function will be update virtual input. And this says in the fine print, don't know if you can read it, it says update selective PTZ virtual input with the current position. All right. So we want this to be input right there. Now let's think this through, what we have to do next to make it work right. This is going to be our input number 1, and we want to assign this shortcut to the input number 1 so that no matter what camera is, well, No, this one's going to be specific. So we want to do the virtual input 53. Let's just give that a try. So we've got note. Well, let's do 52, because I think 52 is the equivalent of the home position. All right, so we'll double check that here in just a second. So we'll say okay to that one, and let me just go into this guy real quickly and see. 52 is the home position. Yeah, home right there. 52. All right. So if we press any other button, it's going to go there, and then if we press 52, it should go back to home position. Okay, so we've currently got number 1 to home position. And if we press this button over here, it's going to sign up whatever the current position is to number 1, so obviously we don't want it there. So we're going to take this and let's spin this all the way around. Yep, to me. There you go. And so if I, in theory now, if I press this button, it's going to reassign this button to this position right there. Yeah, whatever. All right, let's try it. Okay, now, you didn't see anything, but I saw the inputs change. So let's go ahead and move this guy somewhere else, not on the home position. We'll kind of put him in between, maybe pan him down a little bit. And now I'm going to press this button, and let's see if that jumps back to me. Nope, that one went home. Let's see if any of the others go back to me. Nope. 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 Well, that's interesting, because I see 52, and it changed right there. That's 52. How about that? All right, let's look again. We'll go back here. We'll press that one. That should take us to the home position. We're going to move to a different position, and I'm going to press this button, and that's going to assign that position to number 52. Oh, you know what? Let's get 52 out of preview. All right. Now we want to assign that position to 52. And it did it right there. That is 52. If I go live with 52, but if I go back to 53 and then back to 52, 52 takes me to the home position. So it didn't retain it. It just kept it for a second. Marie, I think you're exactly right. The limit is what you can conceive of. And I mean, obviously there's going to be a limit with the hardware, but it's a matter of, again, taking the Legos and putting them together in a way that makes sense. And in this case, it's more of a logic puzzle. All right, let's see. You need to check and see if your PTZ did survive the car crash. Yeah, I think they're pretty durable. I haven't dropped one yet, but, you know, I will eventually. All right, so let's see what I'm doing wrong in my shortcuts. Welcome, Anderson. Glad you're here. Let's go back to shortcuts, and let's pull that shortcut window in, and let's see if we can't figure out why our shortcut's not working. So we've added a shortcut 272. Let's just make sure we don't have two shortcuts with the same number. 272, and that looks like the only one. You do have to be careful with that because sometimes you can get two shortcuts with the same number and you will get who knows what kind of response. Actually, you get the response of the shortcuts in their chronological order. So if you've got two with the same number, that tells you to do one thing and then tells you to do another, the results you get will be the second shortcut, or the last shortcut in this case. All right, so this shortcut was assigned to this button right here, and its function was to PTZ update virtual input. And it says it updates the selected PTZ virtual input with the current position. And this would be the selected PTZ input, number 52. 52? Is that the one we want? Have we been selecting the wrong one? Let's just go out and double check. Go in here, and input 52. We're going to select 52 as the doorway. So that's a new position for 52. So we'll go back to our input, our shortcuts. And make sure that we selected 52 right here. Yeah, there it is, 52. Update virtual input. And we did not assign it to an input number. So let's try that. We'll assign the input to an input number and see if that makes any difference. So we're going to say OK. And we've got our camera set to the front door. So let's see if, again, we want to take a position that we haven't taken anywhere else. So this is going to be set this position, whatever position we're in right now, by pressing this button, it should assign that position to this number. So let's see if it works. I mean, you won't see anything, but I did. And I saw that number 52 now has that position. So let's go to Home. And then we want to press 52 right here to get it. Nope, still doesn't want to go to that position. And we verify that that shortcut is 52. Let's verify one more time. Find that one. It's 2-1. Well, no wonder. That is number 54. Which one does 52? Well, it doesn't look like any of them do 52. Well, there's our problem. Holy cow. I'm looking through here for something that affects number 52 because we're using, I mean, here's 52. This is the one we're changing, but we don't have any shortcuts that do 52. So let's take this shortcut. We wanted to do it for the first one, right? So we're going to do the first one. So let's find this button, and it's 2-0. So we're going to find 2-0. There it is right there. PTZ Home Deck Link Mini Recorder. Well, let's use this button. No, let's do this one. So we're going to change the function to update virtual input, and the input is going to be number 52, right? 52 right there. Boom, 52. We're not going to assign a shortcut number. We're going to say OK. We've got our camera in this crazy position right now. Let's go to another crazy position so that we know it works. And we're going to assign it a shortcut to 52. Okay. And now let's go back around, come to another position. We're going to press the one for 52. And what happened? Did it go to 52? Actually, it doesn't go anywhere. Well, let's make sure we've got our shortcuts assigned correctly and we didn't confuse ourselves. All right, find 20. 20 is for 52. Oh, that's update. Oh, well, that won't work. We don't want to update. We just want to move to. So move to virtual input position, number 52. Now we're cooking with gas. All right, let's try again. We're going to move the camera right over there. We're going to input an update number 52. Now we're going to move the camera somewhere else. And now we're going to press number 1, which should move it to that position. Eureka, it works. Okay, so what we have done is we've now used this button to set this preset. So whatever position the camera is in now, we can set green 1 to that position. So if we move somewhere else and we press green 1, it's going to go back to that position we just set. So there you have it. The next step that I want to get to, and I haven't figured out quite how to get to that step yet, is to use a single key on the keyboard and let that be a preset key for all the other keys. As it is right now, if I have 2 cameras and each camera has 5 locations, so that's going to give me 10 presets. 5 for camera 1, 5 for camera 2. That means I need to have 10 preset buttons over here in order to set each one of those presets individually. So that's the next challenge in this little ordeal, is to figure out exactly how to make that happen and see if it will happen. I've been working with Miranda at PTZ Optics on a custom key layout, and whatever, obviously I will be talking with X-keys, but they have agreed to make a key set that would fit with these shortcuts. Hey, Dan's there. Yep, he brought the nuts. You've got an office full of them, at least the front office, anyway. No, I didn't really say that. So the idea is that we want to set up a file that will be essentially a vMix template that will work with this controller in the same ways that they've done the instant replay controller. My hope is that we can set up a camera controller. Yeah, it's not moving this camera. What if we did 2 and zoomed in a little bit? Yeah, there we go. Now you can see a webcam is not a good sample for this. It doesn't move diagonally, and its movement is all digital. And so it's whatever the digital is, and it doesn't seem to have. Yeah, if you do it slowly, and we could probably make it pan a little bit more slowly. Right now it's set up for variable control, which means that it really is sort of sensing how far the joystick is moving over. Yeah, that's as far as it goes that direction. So I can, let's see if we zoom in a little bit more. Yep, okay, we go all the way out. Ken says that he uses 3 PTZ cameras often with the XK-80 and 8 presets, and each works as well. And well, now, Ken, you've got a way that you can use this, a way to change your presets on the fly. The idea is to be able to change the presets from the keyboard without having to get into vMix to do it. Yes, you can do that, but you're also, you're doing a lot of things, and it would be nice if you could just move the camera where you want it, press, or actually move the camera where you want it and press, and it assigns a new preset to that button. Move it where you want it, press that one, assigns a new preset to that button. So we would probably set this up so that it was a mirror image, so that the buttons on the outside would be set by the buttons on the outside here. The second row would be set by the second row. At some point, we kind of limit ourselves, but we'll just have to figure out what that is. If you've got some ideas for that, would definitely love to hear them. So yeah, there we go. The power of vMix and the flexibility of X-keys allow us to do things that the X-keys folks didn't know it would do. Now they've got and Dan, I hope I'm not talking out of turn, that they've got an NDI app that allows you to use NDI to make all these controls, and it works very differently. But in this case, we're just using it in the native form, so your camera doesn't have to be NDI in order to use that. So there you go. And yeah, nobody should be talking about the Michigan State game over the weekend. Jim is here from London. Welcome, sir. Maggie says vMix plus X-keys equal black hearts. Ugh. That's awful. I think it's better than that. Dan says that the NDI, I guess it's an application, is available now and is on the xkeys.com website as a free download. So if you have this keyboard and you have NDI cameras, then you can use this keyboard to control your NDI cameras through NDI. This would work with NDI cameras outside of NDI, and this would work if you had a mixture of NDI cameras and non-NDI cameras. Excuse me. Assuming that vMix can control the PTZ camera, then this whole scenario is going to work. If vMix can't control the PTZ for whatever reason, then it won't work. And Dan says that it works with any X-keys. The NDI application they have works with any X-keys. There you go. Anderson says he thinks the heart means love. Yes, and his is NDI only. That's right. That's right. And what we're talking about here, again, is using this in a non-NDI environment, or in a mixed environment where you have some NDI cameras and some non-NDI cameras, all of which would be PTZs, so that you would have the ability to control those. And I've just used the webcam here as an example, because it's controllable in vMix. Now this would also work with 4K cameras. If you had a fixed 4K camera and you were doing region of interest, you could use that, and you could actually, well, you wouldn't want to do it the way I just did it, but you could pan, tilt, zoom using the keyboard with, well, I mean, that's exactly what we're doing right now with this webcam. We're using it as regions of interest. It's only 1080p, and so, when we zoom all the way in, you're going to get some pixelation, which you can see right about there. It's not a bad picture. There, it's better. And then that's 1080p right there. Rodrigo says this control is very good, but my any day post is homemade. Okay, we would like to see that. That would be great. Yes, Anderson, I agree. I think that means love. The main idea was that I wanted you guys to see the flexibility of the XK-68, in fact, the old X-keys line, and the flexibility of vMix. And that I think both sides, X-keys and vMix, have worked with the other to make functions available. The move input scheme of assigning the camera number, I came up with that in the shower on my own. The update of a virtual position of a PTZ camera, I wrote to Martin Sinclair and he told me about it. There you go. Anderson says, Tom, did you ever try using the vMix panel builder as a control surface? No. I took a couple of looks at it. I couldn't figure it out, and didn't set aside enough time to sit down and figure it out. I probably could have, would have, should have, and probably at some point when I have a little bit more time, I'll take another gaze at it. But for right now, no, I didn't. Questions about this particular application? How we can use this? I mean, once I get this the whole setup finalized and tested and double checked, and let some other folks that have an XK-68 joystick do the same thing. Number one, I'm going to ask vMix if they'll include this as a template, and if not, I'm going to figure out how to make it a template and allow folks to download it from our website, or if Dan wants to have it available on his, he can too, until such time as it's available built into vMix as a template. I think you can add templates. Let's just take a quick look here. So we're going to look here, and then we're going to look down here in templates. And can we import a template? Yeah. Right down here in the bottom is an import button. So we can probably import a template. Go ahead and figure out what kind of format it needs to be in, and do what we need to do to make it work as a template. Yeah, sorry. What I was attempting to show you guys, let's do it again, is this is the shortcut screen, and then here is the template button, and then of all the templates that are available, you can import other templates, so we can get a template set up and working. Yep, and if anybody wants to help me test that, I'd love to have the help. vMix and X-keys equal eternal love. There you go. There you go. And you can see vMix and X-keys, all those people, when you visit NAB in April, because they're all going to be there. That's right. Or you could go to Michigan and visit X-keys, and you could go to Australia, to the Gold Coast, and visit vMix. But probably not now, because they've got all sorts of terrible fires. Tim was talking about that last night. All right. Well, guys, that is the show today. Dan says the only limitation he's found is with activators. You must import an activator template, and it overwrites your current activator settings. Dave says that we use template imports and exports all the time. Do you do them with activators, Dave, or is it just with shortcuts? There you go. I've never imported or exported a template. Anderson says, just rename the template. Richard says, I see another woman yelling at my cat meme saying X-keys and vMix work great. Oh, you can see that in your mind's eye. Gotcha. Okay, well, good. I'm glad you can. I am glad you can. Well, guys, that was it for today. Dave has done both. Well, thank you, Dave. Might have to consult with you on that for tips and tricks on importing and exporting. We do a lot of exporting right now, but they're mostly live streaming gear to other countries. Not what templates do you export? I guess you create one, you export it, and then you import it somewhere else. I got you. All right, there you go. Well then, let's go back on the record here and say that I appreciate you guys turning out today for a fun, kind of interesting, kind of a workshop. That we didn't know what the answers would be before we started. So Dan says, enjoyed seeing the setup you put in the Fairhope Schools on Fun Time Live show last night. Yeah, that was great. That was neat. And you ought to just see the kids' faces as they love it. They love it. And I love what the principal said about seeing leadership in action. Daniel, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. Glad you enjoyed it. And we'll probably put this together in a more polished tutorial at some point as we get ready for it. And we'll make it available on Facebook and YouTube, that kind of stuff. And probably put the tutorial on the same page with our XK-68 joystick in our store. Dave says, plus all the local stuff is saved in each preset. Well, there you go. Cool, guys. All right. Well then, Tom, why are you not centered? Well, how about that? Jim wants me to sell it. Jim, I think I'm going to give it away. I thought about selling it, and the fact that other people have helped me with it makes me want to give it away. And I know that Martin Sinclair in particular is really big about helping people make things happen. And I want to kind of mimic that attitude. Not mimic it, but copy it, clone it, adopt it. That's what I really mean. Adopt that same attitude of helping folks out. I mean, you've got to get the X-keys, the X-keys XK-68. So if you don't already have it, I hope you'll buy it from me. But the idea would be that as kind of a bonus, you get the secret sauce with it. So there you go. So you buy the XK-68 from us, and not only do you get the secret sauce, but you get help troubleshooting the secret sauce if the sauce doesn't work the way you thought it was going to work on your system. Anyway, that's it. We're going to sign off. This time we're signing off for sure. Appreciate all you guys hanging out with us today, and we will see you. Actually, we won't have a show next week because it's Thanksgiving. Actually, I'll be on the road Wednesday. I might do something from the road. We'll just see. Tom's a hologram today. If he reaches far right or far left, his hand dissolves. Actually, I can reach to Australia. I can go all the way. I think it's this way. No, I think it's this way. I can reach all the way over to Australia and grab Tim and bring him back. Not really. Okay. Very good. Anderson needs an HD capture card cheap, and he used ones for sale. He means really cheap on a tight budget with 4 inputs. There you go. Rich says, thanks, Tom. Thanks, X-keys, for X-keys number 2 for me. That's right. Rich has got an XK-24 on his way. All right, guys. Great hanging out with you, and I will see you maybe next week, but for sure in 2 weeks. Thanks.